It was his own, a failure to understand the impermanence of love, the betrayal of self, the slow erosion of desire. At night, he lay beside her, imagining her body with someone else. The thought was unbearable, yet it was not the other man who wounded him. It was her. Her capacity for pleasure, her ability to move, to desire, to remember her own vitality. And in that imagining, Harold mourned not just the betrayal, but the man he had become, older, weaker, less necessary. Days passed. Ellen grew livelier, her schedule suddenly full of meetings, lunches, and evenings out. Harold noted her new lipstick, the careful attention to her hair, the subtle shifts in her wardrobe. He did not ask questions. He only watched, a silent observer in his own life, cataloging every motion, every glance, every nuance as evidence. He found a letter on the kitchen counter. He opened it carefully. "I can't stop thinking about you. Last night, that was enough." He folded it and walked to the window. Outside, the street lay quiet, leaves stirring in the wind. Life continued, indifferent, and Harold realized that his suffering had less to do with her than with himself. He had trusted permanence. He had believed love could be frozen, secured. He had been wrong. At dinner that evening, he finally spoke. "Ellen," he said. His voice was calm, though his hands shook. "We need to talk." "About what?" she asked, calm, almost amused. "About us. About what we've become." She did not deny it. She did not defend herself. She only smiled, the kind of smile that made a man feel both insignificant and foolishly fond. They ate in silence. He studied her face, recalling the auburn-haired girl who had kissed him first, the young woman who had once chosen him above all else. And he mourned the man he had been, the man capable of command, desire, and action. Late that night, he sat on the edge of the bed, hands clasped, thinking about time, the body, and the decay of certainty. He found out about it on Thursday at 7 in the evening because of a wilted flower. Mark came home earlier than usual. His business trip had been canceled because his boss had fallen ill. He bought an expensive bottle of red wine, Kadia's favorite, and a bouquet of peonies. He wanted to surprise her. The hallway smelled of lavender and cleanliness. Kadia loved perfect order. The living room was empty and quiet. Only the clock they had inherited from their grandmother was ticking. She must be in the bedroom or the garden, he thought. Passing by a large bookcase, he caught his shoulder on the end of a shelf. A small porcelain vase fell from the top shelf, which was almost decorative and used to hold unnecessary trinkets. It fell onto the soft carpet and, with a dull clink, rolled under the chair. Mark sighed and bent down to pick it up, and froze. In the vase lay a single, long-since dried-up flower. Not a peony, not a rose, not what he usually gave her. It was a modest, almost wild cornflower. Blue even now in its dried state. Mark's heart skipped a beat. A cold, unfounded pang of instinct. He hated cornflowers. They triggered an old, long-forgotten allergy. He couldn't stand their smell, and Kadia had known this from the very beginning of their relationship. "No cornflowers, I'll die," he joked back then. And in 12 years of marriage, not a single cornflower had crossed the threshold of their home. Never. Where did it come from? Mark slowly straightened up, clutching the cold porcelain in his hand. His brain, which a minute ago had been relaxed and happy, began to work at an alarming speed. He looked around. Everything was in its place, perfect, sterile. But now that sterility seemed suspicious to him. He went into the bedroom. He put the wine and fresh peonies on the nightstand. His gaze fell on Kadia's bedside table. A book, hand cream, a lamp, and a small wooden horse figurine, a souvenir. He picked it up. Carved, rough work. They had never been to Scandinavia, where this style seemed to originate. He turned it over. On the bottom was a sticker from a tiny shop. He knew this shop. It was in the old town, where they hadn't been in 100 years. Then his gaze fell on the wardrobe. Kadia was a stickler for order, hanging everything by color and season. Among her white, black, and pastel blouses hung one, ultramarine blue, bright, flashy. like that cornflower. He touched the fabric. Silk. Expensive. He didn't remember her buying one like that, and he certainly wouldn't have allowed it in his conservative wardrobe. He sat down on the bed, feeling the ground slip away from under his feet. Every object, every detail that he hadn't noticed before now took on a new, ominous meaning. And then he heard the creak of the gate in the garden, her footsteps on the gravel path, the jingle of keys. His heart pounded in his throat. He sat on the bed, clutching a vase of cornflowers in one hand and a wooden horse in the other, feeling like a complete idiot and a stranger in his own home. The door opened. "Mark? Are you home?" Her voice sounded as bright and friendly as ever. "Oh, I thought you weren't coming back until tomorrow. Your car isn't here." She appeared in the bedroom doorway. She saw him. She saw his face. She saw the wine and flowers on the nightstand. Her smile was about to widen even more, but then her gaze fell on his hands, on what he was clutching in his fingers. The smile froze and slowly, as if on command, disappeared without a trace. Her whole face became clean, smooth, like a mask. No fear, no surprise, only silence. A thick, oppressive hum of silence in which the ticking of the clock and the beating of his heart were drowned out.